Well, I want to kind of touch on the two ways that you take a product to market. The first is venturing. The other is licensing. You can do any form of those two type of things. There's different variations. You can do the manufacturing portion of it and then license off the rest of it. And I personally specialize in the licensing section of it, but venturing is a very exciting component of it. The venturing part, though, is very difficult. It's much more commonly done, but there's a lot of things that you need to be able to do to make that possible. Venturing, you need a lot of funding. There are people in the Lansing area, Joe Rabideau, who we all know, or I don't know if we all know, but a lot of us know him, and he's venturing his own product. Kind of a very scary proposition for me, but you know, he's ready to do it. He has the skills available to him. For a lot of people, they look at this as you know, when you do venture your own product, you have to learn how to be a manufacturing professional because you are responsible for manufacturing your product. Once you get it manufactured, then you have to sell it. So not only do you have to learn how to manufacture, then you have to be a great salesman because you just invested thousands of dollars and mortgaged your house to get this product to that point where you can actually sell it. So now that you've actually sold it, you have to figure out a way to get it from your manufacturing facility to the hands of the people that, or the people that you've just sold it to. So after you become a manufacturing professional, a salesperson, and now you have to master distribution. So there's a lot of skills that you need available to you to be very good at venturing a product. And these are things that I didn't really want to undertake. It was you know, scary and daunting for me as a young guy. Something that I didn't want to get involved in. So I always looked for other ways. I had ideas, and I wanted to express them. I wanted to get them out there in the marketplace, and I did that through licensing, a less known way to get your product in the marketplace and get paid for it. Licensing, in its most simplest terms, is you have a piece of property and you rent it to a company. It's like as if I built a house and I'm renting it out to renters. They're paying me a monthly to use my property or my patent. And it's a very, very simple and easy step. You don't need many tools at all to be able to do this. You can basically do everything that you need to be able to do on your phone. You need to be able to call people. Well, you have to have a smartphone, I guess. Call people, take pictures, and do research. Are the simplest things that you need to be able to do to be a professional in licensing. And it happens very quickly. There was one time I had an idea, and this is, you know, I'm just learning the process at this time in my life of how to do it, because there's a specific process to do it very quickly, and everybody has their own variation of it. But I was just learning this process, and it was one specific product that you know, I thought of on Sunday. It was Sunday night, and I thought of the product, and I did a little research online and found that, you know, this thing's not on the marketplace. And so then I went out and bought some supplies and made a prototype that night. I then went and made a video on Monday and made a list of companies to call and called them all and sent the video out. And got calls back with interest and had a contract offer by Thursday. So this is 5 days worth of work that I can get paid on for the rest of the time that it's manufactured. And so it's an awesome opportunity, because once you sign that contract, then your hands are off the project. They take it from there. They already have everything in place, the distribution. When they're in Target, they'll take your product and put it in Target. You don't have to go and knock on the doors and get into these big, huge retailers. So that's why licensing is such a great way to get your product out there in a big way very quickly, because you do what you're good at, thinking of ideas, or you pick the parts that you're good at and do those parts. So I wanted to kind of go over a short 101 on how to get your product to market. And I want to take it from the point of you have an idea to getting your offer. And that is, first, when you have that idea, you need to do your research. I've had inventors come to me, and all they had to do was a Google search. And they show me their product, and they tell me, you know, I've spent $30,000 on prototypes and all this different stuff. And I'm like, here it is in a Google search. It's the top thing. And, you know, it's heartbreaking, but to start a new business, Googling it is one of the easiest things you can do to figure out what else is in your marketplace that is going to be in competition with you. So do your research and then market it. Most people think inventors, the first thing you have to do is patent, and they think that the only value that you have is a patent. When in reality, the first 2 products that I licensed, that I sold for money, I did not have patents for, and it was not a patentable product. So patents aren't that valuable of a thing. They're only valuable to those who need to protect their ideas, and they're not looked at as a sales tool. So after you've done your research and figured out if there is a marketplace for this, you then market it. When you market it, marketing for me in my mind is how do you take that aha moment, that exciting moment that you have when you first think of that product, and give it to somebody else within 30 seconds. That is one of the hardest things for inventors to do, is to actually be able to convey that, because they're so focused on their own product that they miss the point on being able to convey that. So you put together a small marketing piece, 30 to 1 minute video. You can have guys like Michigan Creative. They've helped me with a couple of my videos, and they did an amazing job, which I licensed that product. And so you can have people help you with the different steps. You know, if you're not good at market research, then you can find somebody to help you research. If you're not good at making marketing pieces, you can find somebody to help you with that. So once you put together a 30 to 1 minute long video or a sell sheet is just a piece of paper showing what your product is, getting somebody else excited with images and words to show them what your product is in less than 30 seconds. So after you put together your marketing piece, now it's time to prepare for a patent. This is where you can get a PPA, a provisional patent application, and they're $65, and you get 1 year's worth of protection. This is something that you can write yourself. Patent attorneys always want them to write it, but through a little research and a little bit of reading, you can figure out how to write your own provisional patent. That's when you apply for that, because you don't want to get your product ready to sell, patent it, and then have to go out and get a marketing piece, because that marketing piece might take 2 months to make. Well, you just lost 2 months on your 1 year. You want to be ready to start selling. You want to be ready to start going public with your product as soon as that 1 year starts, because I've negotiated a deal. My most recent one, I started in December and just signed it 2 weeks ago. So it's a 9-month process of negotiating some of these things, because companies are investing so much money that they need all their stars to align to get everybody on the same page. So it takes a lot of time to do these things. So now, once you've written your PPA, your provisional patent application, you then start calling. This is the most fearful part for most inventors and entrepreneurs, is actually getting to the point where somebody can say no to you. It's kind of heart-wrenching when you go out there and they get your first no. And for those who have started a business before, when you actually have a product or a service that you're going out there trying to sell, and somebody tells you no, it's hard to recover after that emotionally, because you just put your heart and soul into something and somebody else says, I don't like this thing. But it is the finest line of a gap between the basement crazy inventor and the multimillionaire, because they all start out at the same point. They both have an idea, a concept that's written on a napkin or whatever. They can both build it up, and the crazy inventor can sit there and prototype his life away and sit there and make reiterations and reiterations and keep recreating it and never sell it. And you'll always hear about crazy Uncle Eddie sitting there making his prototypes and never get anywhere in his life. Or you'll hear about one guy who went out and made those phone calls and actually sold the product. And he's not the crazy inventor, but they both started at the same spot. They both didn't make the same moves after they had the idea. One guy started making calls and went out and sold the idea. When you sell the idea, that's when the money starts coming in. The absolute one most important thing to separate those two inventors is that sales call that one person's going to have the cojones to do and the other person's not. So that is really what we teach at the Lansing Inventors Group, is to get out there and start making those calls. Get your product ready. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be okay enough to pitch. I've had ideas where I pitch them and companies come back and say, this is too big, we're not going to buy this. So I remake the prototype and I just made it smaller and they bought it. I don't know why they couldn't just think, oh, why don't you just shrink it, but they wanted to see it. But I made the calls. I made the calls and I asked them, what's wrong with it? And you don't want to be the inventor or the entrepreneur that gets stuck there trying to perfect your product without your customer, because your customer is the one that should shape your product. So when you're trying to decide between licensing and venturing, you need to look at the product and decide what type of product is it. Because if it's a new type of shoe, are you going to go out and construct an entire shoe company around this one idea? Which has been done. Vibram did it. Now they're the soles of hundreds of different styles of shoes. But the thing is, that takes a lot of capital, a lot of skills, and a lot of people to rally around that idea. So if you had, let's say, that shoe idea, you could go out there and license it to a Nike or a Reebok. And then your invention will be distributed all over the world. You'll get paid 5% on every sale of that invention. And you don't have to go through the headache of developing a whole company around it. Where Joe Rabideau, he's doing the dog food bowl. That is one individual product. He can build a company around that. He doesn't need to build a shoe company with a brand. He can build a dog bowl and sell that. So you need to look at the type of product that you want to invent and create and bring to market and say that you want to define it and figure out what is best for this product, to actually license it or to build a company around it. Building a company around it is definitely way more profitable. I mean, as you know, all the companies that are built around the world, multi-billion-dollar companies, and these all started from one man and one idea, or woman, and from that, they make millions, billions of dollars. But so that's why you want to figure out what your skill set is and look at the product that you want to bring to market and see the way that best benefits that product and you. That's why I really like licensing, because it takes a less of a beating on my life, because I get to license the product off. I get to sign that deal and give it to somebody else to take all the headaches, and I get my 5%. So it's really making your goal in mind when you start your company to develop your product into something that somebody wants to buy and pay for, and you make money.